Hey everyone, Steven here from Radolescence with another video. Thank you so much for watching. And this time I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 favorite spring fragrances for the year of 2014. And this is going to be the designer edition. So if you are interested in the niche version of this list, if you have a playback that supports annotations, I'm going to leave a link to that here. So make sure you check that out before you check this video out. And again guys, thank you so much for watching. So this is my list. This is a list that I put together. I did not find this online or anything like that. And these are fragrances that are in my collection. So I know that there are a ton of really great spring fragrances out there, many of which I tried and I'm still trying to get in my collection. But if you know of a fragrance that has not made this list, it's either because I don't own it or because I have not worn it as much as I've worn these fragrances. And that's another thing. I know I'm a little bit late with this list. It's a little bit later on in the year, but I think that that's a good thing in a way because it's a more accurate list as a result of that. So these are fragrances that I actually wore this spring, and I know for a fact that I've worn them, so this is an authentic list, if you will. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Without further ado, let's kick it off with number 10. So number 10 on my list is a fragrance that's a staple for work. I've worn this fragrance a lot this season to work. I think it's a great fragrance. I know it's not my favorite. It made this list because of the frequency with which I've worn it. And I think this makes a great work scent because it's very safe, it's versatile, it's inoffensive. I actually do get a lot of compliments with it. It's one of my girlfriend's favorite fragrances. And I know a lot of people hate this fragrance because of its creativity or lack thereof, and because of the creative direction of the brand. And I totally see what people are talking about, and I even agree with them to an extent. But with that being said, this fragrance is from the house of Gucci, and it's called Gucci Guilty Black. Now, I do wear this fragrance a lot. You know, like I said, it's not my favorite fragrance, but I think it has a very pleasant smell to it, and it's very inoffensive. It contains very spicy nuances in the opening. Coriander is a note, if I'm not mistaken. Has a woody feel in the dry down. Nice sparkling citrusy zest in the opening. But, you know, it's very fleeting and it fades away quickly. But even the dry down smells very versatile, very inoffensive. I think it's great for work and great for casual wear. Number 10 on my list, Gucci Guilty Black. Number 9 on my list is a fragrance that naturally I've been wearing a lot this season because I did a review on it. So naturally I wanted to spend some time with it. And the reason why I wore it so much, aside from the fact that I was reviewing it, is because I really do like the smell. This is a copy of another fragrance by the name of Aventus. I'm sure you've probably heard of that fragrance already. Aventus is a very popular fragrance from the house of Creed, which gets people a ton of compliments, myself included. It made number 1 on my list. And when I heard that this fragrance was like 90 to 95% similar to Aventus, I knew I had to buy it. And after I bought it, I realized that the similarities and the resemblances are indeed there. This is a great fragrance from the house of Lamani, and it's called AB Spirit Silver. Very citrusy introduction due to the note of pineapple. It has a fruity nuance to it too. A little sugary too, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it even shares a lot of the same notes that Aventus has, like jasmine and rose in the mid. It dries down to kind of like an ambery feel with some cedar wood. Nice fragrance, very, very contemporary, has a masculine characteristic to it too. I think it's unisex, but it does have a masculine quality to it too. And it's very inoffensive, and it will get you compliments. Good for casual, good for a night out, very versatile. Number 8 on my list is a fragrance that I've been reaching for this season more than I've reached for it last year. And that's because last year I was wearing its flanker. I was wearing the summer 2013 version. This year, I decided I was going to go back to the original, and I think that this fragrance epitomizes really what I'm looking for in a spring scent. In the summer, I generally tend to gravitate more toward the citrus-dominant fragrances. In the spring, I want to wear something that's a little bit more floral. This fragrance suits the bill perfectly. This is from the house of Issey Miyake, and it's called Lotus et Poron. I think the floral quality of this fragrance is due to the lotus flower note that it contains. Really nice, clean, inoffensive, perfect for casual wear. I actually get pretty good performance from this fragrance, and I love that unorthodox citrusy introduction due to the note of yuzu. It's a great fragrance. Highly recommend you check it out. I'm sure everybody here has heard of it, but it's a great fragrance. So it makes number 8 on my list. Number 7 on my list is a fragrance that really caught me by surprise, because when I buy fragrances, I have a tendency of neglecting them due to the fact that I buy so many. So with this one, I said, you know what, I'm going to try to consciously wear it often, so I don't neglect it. And it caught me by surprise because I actually ended up enjoying it a lot. I think it's a perfect fragrance for the spring. It has a really nice blend of lemongrass and I think guava or some kind of melon note in it. And it has a very fresh feel to it with a masculine muskiness. So this one is from the house of Adam Levine. It's actually a celebrity fragrance. And it's simply called Adam Levine for Men. Pretty cool bottle. It looks like a microphone. And that's exactly what you get. Lemongrass, a melon feel. There's a little bit of a fruity sweetness to it, but it's a really nice fragrance, very inoffensive, and you can wear it on a broad range of social scenarios, and it fits the bill perfectly for a lot of those occasions. So that's number 7 on my list, Adam Levine for Men. Number 6 on my list is a fragrance that I could have worn a lot more. Actually had the potential to be in my top 3. I wore it a lot last year and the year before that. I've had it for a while now. And I used to wear this to my old job. So I've been trying to wear a lot of my newer acquisitions. So this one got pushed back a little bit, but it's a great fragrance. It's from the house of Yves Saint Laurent. This one is called L'Homme. I know there are many versions of this fragrance, L'Homme Libre, which is a great one for the spring and summer. I know La Nuit de L'Homme, which is great for nighttime. This one is also great for the spring. Make sure you check this out. The original is great. L'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent. It has kind of like a ginger, spicy feel to it too. Some people say it smells fruity or it reminds them of apple, and I can see what they mean. I think there's somewhat of like an ambery quality in the dry down. I think it's a great fragrance, spicy but fresh at the same time. So number 6 on my list, L'Homme by Yves Saint Laurent. Number 5 on my list is a fragrance that I've been wearing a lot, also because it's very inoffensive. This is a fragrance that a lot of people say smells like other fragrances from the same house, and the perfumer is the same, so that's to be expected. But I think the more time that you spend with this fragrance, the more you come to the realization that it is its own composition and it does stand out in its own unique ways. This is from the house of Prada. And this fragrance is called Luna Rosa. I've done a review on this fragrance. I think it's great. The perfumer is Daniela Roja Andrie. And this is another fragrance containing iris. But what I like about this one too is that it also highlights the note of lavender. I think it also contains Abroxan. I know it's been a while since I really looked at the notes, but I've really been appreciating the smell, and I've been getting a lot of compliments with it too. So number 5 on my list, Prada's Luna Rosa. Make sure you check it out. Great fragrance for the spring and the summer. Number 4 on my list is a fragrance that should have been on my list last year. For some reason, I just did not reach for it as much as I potentially could have. I think it's a great smell. This had the potential to be number 1 on my list. I know it's probably made number 1 on other reviewers' lists. It's a great fragrance. It's from the house of Chanel, and this one is called Allure Homme Edition Blanche, or Edition Blanche. It's a great lemon-based fragrance. I know it contains lemon. It also contains, I think, like a vanilla dry down. It turns really sweet. I know people describe it as like a lemon pie. It definitely has a creamy sweetness in the dry down. Really nice fragrance, inoffensive. It has that sharp citrusy zest in the opening, which is so incredibly desirable. And I think it's a perfect casual fragrance, and it would also work well in a suit and tie. So make sure you check that out. It's from the house of Chanel, and it's called Allure Homme Edition Blanche, number 4 on my list. Number 3 on my list is a fragrance that I've been wearing a lot just because I know summer is coming up, and this is a fragrance that I wore a lot last summer, and it reminds me of the good times that I had. So I've been wearing this almost like in an effort to accelerate the spring and get into summer already, but I think it's great. This is actually more of a summer fragrance, but I've been wearing it a lot, so I want to stay true to that. This is from the house of Versace, and it's called Man au Fraîche. This is a citrusy fragrance, if I'm not mistaken. I think bergamot or lemon is the dominant citrus note in that fragrance, but it also contains starfruit or carambola, which gives it kind of like a fruity quality. There's a lot more going on in there, some oceanic vibes. It's definitely more of an aquatic fragrance than the original, which is just simply titled Versace Man. Great fragrance. Make sure you check it out. Perfect for both spring and summer. Number 3 on my list, Man au Fraîche by Versace. Number 2 on my list is another fragrance that I bought because of the hype surrounding it. Very similar to Lamani's Ab Spirit Silver. I heard a lot of good things about this fragrance and how it also resembles Creed's Aventus. And then when I ended up hearing online from another trusted reviewer that it's even closer of a resemblance to Aventus, I decided that I really had to go and try it out. I pulled the trigger and I was not let down. I want to say that this is the closest clone to Aventus out of all, you know, the other clones, including Insurrection Pure, Fresco, this one, and I'm actually really excited to be wearing it, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory why I've been wearing it so much. You know, you don't want to use Aventus, you know, because it's so expensive, so I've been wearing this one a lot. This is by Glen Perry, and it's called Unpredictable Adventure. I think this is a really nice fragrance. It bears a lot of the same notes. I like this one a little bit better than the Lamani, only because this one does have somewhat of that smokiness in the opening that's attributed to the birch tar note that Aventus contains. I don't know if this fragrance contains birch tar. It's not online. I couldn't find it online, but it has somewhat of like a smoky quality in the opening that I think allows for a more closer resemblance to Creed's Aventus. So it's a great fragrance. Number 2 on my list. Make sure you check it out. Incredibly versatile. Probably one of the more versatile fragrances in this list from the house of Glen Perry, and it's called Unpredictable Adventure. Number 1 on my list is definitely a fragrance worthy of that spot. Another fragrance that I wore last year when I went on vacation, and it just brings back very fond memories. But other than that, I just love the composition. I think it's a masterpiece, and I think that Jean-Claude Ellena did a great job with this fragrance, and I will always have a bottle of this fragrance in my collection for as long as I collect fragrances. And this is from the House of Hermes, and it's called Un Jardin sur le Nil. The name translates to a garden on the Nile, and it really is a fragrance with green qualities that make it evocative of a garden. I know it contains a mango note, which gives it a little bit of like a fruity sweetness to it. It's not overly sweet. It's more of like a green, fresh fragrance. And it does have somewhat of a vegetal feel to it. I think it contains either the note of tomato or tomato leaf, but it's really nice, refreshing, clean, crisp, green, and it's perfect for the spring and the summer alike. So that's number 1 on my list, one of my favorite spring scents, and it's been my favorite this year. So there you have it. These have been my top 10 favorite fragrances for the spring of 2014, and this has been the designer version. So if you own or have tried any of these fragrances, please let me know what you think by leaving a comment down below. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to shoot me a message, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Also, please don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. It will be greatly appreciated. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been Steven with another video from Adolescence. See you soon.